Really true that we've got a situation where 8 families, as you describe, are control pretty much everything. I mean, is this true? I mean, maybe you can elaborate. I'll let you elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean it's what the big oil and the Federal Reserve Cartel, both books are about. Actually, the Federal Reserve Cartel book is chapter 19 of the big oil book, which is a bigger expose, which gets into their control of more of the resources, mainly oil, guns, drugs, which are the biggest 3 commodities in the world. It happens, and then so it's true, and it's really, maybe sometimes I joke that I exaggerate, or we exaggerate when it's 8 families, and not exaggerate one way but in another way, in that they've inbred actually now the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Goldman Sachs, the Warburgs, the Lehmans, the Lazards, the Israel Moses Safes, and Kuhn Loebs and the Schiffs, and these people have inbred to the point where it's actually more like one big family, because they all seem to be related now. But yeah, they think they're Merovingian family descendants from the Bourbons, and they really have this divine right to rule over us, the divine right of kings, which Mark Twain poked a great deal of fun at. It was from my state, and it's just there's all kinds of stuff after that. I mean, it just gets weirder. They're leading the Kabbalist movement. The Rothschilds had that. They had the Freemason movement. They had the Muslim Brotherhood wing also, which is very hard for people to get their head around. Basically, every act of Islamic terrorism, every single one, is British intelligence, Rothschilds. Okay, so every single one, there's no exceptions. Whether it's Boko Haram or Somalia or Yemen or anywhere this stuff's going on, it was all created by British intelligence. 1947, when they partitioned India, the Aga Khan Foundation, and out of that came the Muslim Brotherhood and all of its attendants, including Al-Qaeda, including ISIS, including Mujahideen, who we trained in Afghanistan under Reagan, and then reinforced the creation of, and made them a huge army and trained them how to blow things up and kill people.
Bank of England here, and it even says here, on this pyramid-y thing, it says, close to this panel is the Royal Exchange, which contains a new retail development, Mansion House, the official home of the Lord Mayor of London during his year in office, and the Bank of England, founded in 1694 as a private company, is now exercising the functions of a state bank. It says it here. Get close to it. It's here, where my finger is. Bank of England, founded in 1694 as a private company, and now exercising the functions of a state bank. It doesn't say it's a government-owned state bank. It clearly says in black and white, founded in 1694 as a private company and now exercising the functions of a state bank. That is a private company that issues notes that are worthless bits of paper and that are backed up by nothing.
Starting as early as 2007, currency traders at several multinational banks formed a group that they dubbed the Cartel. It's perhaps fitting that they chose that name, as it aptly describes the brazenly illegal behavior that they were engaged in on a near 5-year basis. Almost every day, for more than 5 years, traders in this cartel used a private electronic chat room to manipulate the spot market's exchange rate between euros and dollars, using coded language to conceal their collusion. They acted as partners rather than competitors in an effort to push the exchange rate in directions favorable to their banks but detrimental to many others. Now, the prices the market sets for those currencies influence virtually every sector of every economy in the world. Their actions inflated the bank's profits while harming countless consumers, investors, and institutions around the globe, from pension funds to major corporations, and including the bank's own customers, who placed their faith in the market and relied on it to produce a competitive exchange rate. As a result of our investigation, 4 of the world's largest banks have agreed to plead guilty to felony antitrust violations. They are Citicorp, J.P. Morgan Chase & Company, Barclays plc, and the Royal Bank of Scotland plc.
The fact is 52% of the New York Fed is owned by these 8 families. It's the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, Goldman Sachs, Lehmans, Lazards, Warburgs, Kuhn-Loebs, and Israel Moses Seifs. And the latter family, that goes back to the Genoese bankers, you know, when they first moved into Europe. And these are just really old families. And you know the saying, money begets more money. You know, you got to have money to make money. Well, guess what? These people had money in the 16th century.